Welcome to Rob's Rapid Review, where we take a quick look at a book or other item to see if it is worth your time. And today, we are going to take a look at 108, an eco-thriller, a book by Dheepa R. Maturi. Full disclosure, I only picked this book up to support a former colleague. I'm usually a space sci-fi reader. I am not really into techno thrillers or anything like that. But I ended up really being pulled in by the story that blends corporate intrigue, environmental themes, and mysticism in a way that really kept me engaged right up to the end. Now, I experienced this as an audiobook narrated by Sharmila Devar, and she does a fantastic job with the narration. The performance really brings characters to life and sets the atmosphere for the story just in a deeply engaging way. At the center of the story is Bayla, who finds herself caught up in forces that she just doesn't fully understand. As the story unfolds, she explores those forces in herself, alongside Athmanji, an environmentalist with a deep but fractured connection to her, and Chadi, a graduate student whose own past has been shaped by the same mysterious forces that are at work in Bayla's life. Now, for me, the standout moment was in chapter 16, where the spiritual dimension of the story really comes into focus. As a chaplain, the exploration of mysticism and calling really resonated with me. Even though some of the Hindu-rooted elements are outside of my own tradition and had me doing a little bit of looking to try to understand deeper meaning, I still found the spiritual language to be very compelling, very beautifully written. Now, here's a little bonus. If you're a fan of Star Trek Discovery, you might find one element of the story especially intriguing. Maturi explores, if I can get that word right, the idea of the mycelial network, a living, interconnected system throughout the world, which Trek fans will recognize as the same concept behind the spore drive that powers Discovery. Now, if there's a weak link in the book at times, it's the antagonist, Kraken Zed, who occasionally comes across as a transplanted villain from the James Bond franchise. He's certainly Spectre-worthy. But Maturi walks him back before he becomes irretrievably stereotypical. And even if you think he briefly crosses that line, the rest of the story is woven tightly enough that you quickly bounce back into the narrative. And the resolution of the story, it balances beauty and terror in a way that I found genuinely powerful. So overall, if you enjoy stories that mix science fiction ideas, corporate intrigue, environmental themes, and some spiritual exploration, this one is definitely worth checking out. That's 108 by Dheepa R. Maturi, and this wraps up this edition of Rob's Rapid Reviews. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing for future content.